The opening verse of the Book of Abraham places the story in the land of the Chaldeans. Several references to the city of Ur and Ur of the Chaldees are also presented in the text. This location is said to be the residence of Abraham's fathers and Abraham's own residence and country. The Book of Abraham gives some specific details about Ur and this land of the Chaldeans that are not found in the Genesis account. This includes an apparent degree of Egyptian cultural and religious influence in the area and being in or near the vicinity of the plain of Olishem. Where exactly is Abraham's Ur of the Chaldees? For centuries, the traditional location for Muslims, Jews, and Christians was the city of Urfa, modern Sanliurfa, in southeast Turkey. In the 1920s, however, the excavations of Sir Leonard Woolley at Tel El Mukayyar in southern Iraq identified an ancient Sumerian city called Urim or Uru. Woolley argued that this site was the location of Abraham's Ur, not the traditional site in Turkey. Woolley's argument has since gained widespread acceptance among biblical scholars. While Woolley's identification of Urim with the biblical Ur has remained popular, other scholars have challenged it. Chief among them has been Cyrus Gordon, a member of Woolley's excavation team, who disputed Woolley's identification on linguistic and archaeological grounds. He and a vocal minority of scholars have argued for candidates in northern Syria and southern Turkey as being Abraham's Ur. An additional complication besides locating Abraham's Ur is identifying the ancient Chaldeans or Chaldees, mentioned in both the Book of Abraham and the Book of Genesis. Our best current evidence suggests that they were a nomadic Semitic tribe from modern Syria who immigrated into Mesopotamia and established a dynasty that came to power as the Babylonian Empire. The infamous biblical king Nebuchadnezzar was a descendant of these Chaldeans, and by his time the name Chaldean had become synonymous with Babylonian. Unfortunately, we have practically no inscriptional or archaeological evidence for the identity of the Chaldeans before they entered Mesopotamia long after Abraham's lifetime. We therefore still have large gaps in the archaeological record that do not permit us to say much about the Chaldeans during Abraham's lifetime. Latter-day Saint scholars who have approached this question have pointed out that a northern Syrian Turkish location for Ur is much more favorable for the Book of Abraham than the southern Mesopotamian location. For one thing, as mentioned, the Book of Abraham mentions some kind of Egyptian cultural influence or presence in and around Abraham's homeland of Ur. Abraham's kinsmen included the god of Pharaoh and their worship, along with a priest of Pharaoh to carry out the rituals and practice ritual human sacrifice after the manner of the Egyptians. There is presently no evidence for Egyptian influence in southern Mesopotamia during the lifetime of Abraham, but the evidence for Egyptian influence in northern Syria, there is evidence for Egyptian presence in northern Syria at this time. Additionally, the proximity of Abraham's Ur to the plain of Olishem is an important geographical detail that works best in a northern as opposed to southern location. The Book of Abraham's Olishem has been plausibly identified with the ancient city of Olisum or Olishum, located somewhere in southern Turkey, although the precise location remains debated. Taken together, the evidence from the Book of Abraham text and external archaeological and inscriptional sources can reasonably point us in the general direction of modern northern Syria and Turkey as the ancient homeland of Abraham. While there are many questions the scholars still grapple with, enough evidence has surfaced over the years that paint a generally reliable picture of the historical and geographical world described in the Book of Abraham.